Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning back in. Welcome to everybody, and welcome to Dr. Jack. Hello, Dr. Jack. Oh, you might be on mute.
I was on mute. Hello, Eric. It's great to see you. You do such a good job, and it's great to see Jim as well.
Hello, Jim. We call you Moto Jim. Hello, Jim.
Hey, Eric. Hey, Dr. Jack.
So the reason I organized this video is because I want to show something, but I want to bring in someone that is more technical on LMR or land mobile radio than I am, with the creator, because we have a product here we want to talk about for those in the LMR market. Okay. Moto Jim here, Dr. Jack and Moto Jim have both been talking about this. I've talked to both of them about it. The LMR-1 by Compactenna. And Jim, I want to bring this to you. You can start off here. About this LMR antenna. Tell us what about LMR, and tell us what makes this antenna really viable in the LMR market, land mobile radio. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, this antenna has been specifically designed for the LMR public safety federal market usage. As Dr. Jack will tell you, the frequency band coverage is 136, 174, 380 to 512, and then the 700-800 megahertz band all the way up to, I believe it's 920. We're seeing more and more where federal mandates for interoperability, they're starting to deploy full spectrum radios. With the products that are currently out there for antennas today, I have not been impressed with, both on the base station side, control stations, or in the mobile world. They work, but again, they really don't fall into the specs you really want to see in the marketplace. Most are, specifically in the federal market area, most of them are running high VSWR. If you look at their return losses, they are a little bit above spec, so they're not falling within spec. And that's where I've looked at Dr. Jack's antenna, and I'm quite happy with its performance. I've been running one of these on my personal vehicle for 6 months to a year here now, and I've been really impressed with how it works in comparison to monoband antennas.
Yeah, so I've been running one of the originals, the LMR-1 by Compactenna, and also other ones like the Scan 3 and the dual band for ham radio. But in the LMR market, Dr. Jack has really, we'll hear from you, Dr. Jack, has really tailored to some markets that have multiple frequencies coordinated with one antenna that doesn't need to be tuned. You don't need all these traps and weird things. And it's a great design. I mean, I've already seen this with the other models he has, but now the land mobile for those in commercial and federal and public safety and business. Go ahead, Dr. Jack, your turn.
Okay, thank you very much, Eric. Yes, I'm going to be very brief on this, because if you want to learn more about how this patented technology is completely different, simply go to the website. There is a link to a presentation that I gave to a group in California, and explains all about the magnetic field resonator, all of these things, how to decrease loss, all of that kind of thing, how you can get this kind of performance from a small size. The LMR-1, Land Mobile Radio 1, was designed by request of the public service community, the government community, local, state, and federal. We can see, for example, in QST, the August edition on the 2M440 Plus, that's the 9-inch version for ham radio. Great reviews for both analog and digital, even satellite communications. You know, it's all about the diverse electromagnetic field, elliptical, phase delay, broad patterning, even satellite communications, all these kind of things. It's an entirely different technology that allows to do this. But the important thing was, you know, there are monoband and there are multi-band land mobile radios out there, and you know, Harris, Motorola, Raytheon, Johnson, etc. And could you actually develop it? So I'm very pleased, blessed to have been able to figure out how to take this technology and get the good SWRs. But get the great performance, for the land mobile radio, and also decrease noise, not just in electric vehicles. As you can see, people are reporting they're becoming so excited. I couldn't even operate, the standard antenna because of the noise in my electric vehicle, even when it wasn't running, when it was just in the on position. And this is also true with a lot of the electronics in gas powered vehicles, hybrid or standard. A lot of people move their any antenna towards the rear of the vehicle. Well, don't forget, this is great again, and I'm closing with this because we want to hear more from Jim. But in this case, what if the antenna says the ideal location is in the center of the vehicle like usual? Well, then you can't move it to the back to decrease the noise, right, from the engine compartment and whatnot in the gas powered vehicle. Here you can. It's designed for the corners. Same thing. Last point. Okay. This was developed specifically as a totally perfected, optimized ground plane adapter kit, compact counterpoise. All right. When you look at VHF, UHF, and the higher bands, 750 to 960, you're not going to get a good check mark on SWR and a good check mark on pattern and performance on all of those with the existing counterpoises out there. So I developed this. So now you have something for both mobile and base station operations. That's the quickest summary.
For those who can't have a huge antenna, or for those who want to operate base or mobile,
well, that's right. Eric, my last comment, you're right. I missed that completely because this original patented visionary design was come up with because people are going in and out of garages, their own garage, all their garages. So I developed a short, originally 7.5, micro short, expanded it just a little bit to 9 inches to get some added gain in there. But, to be able to even have an antenna, where they can get around places and whatnot without all the burden. So yeah, that's huge. And also, of course, with the ground plane adapter kit, it makes it very discreet, for HOAs, homes, anything. And Jim, when he talks about things, he's talking about mobile. He's also talking about base station type node operations.
Right. So for those who are wondering, again, I'll touch on a couple things. We'll talk about Jim because we're going to do a follow-up video here with some real antenna sweeps and real performance in the field from this, because a lot of people may say, well, that's a small antenna. How can it cover all that? Dr. Jack has this huge theory on this, and we could talk to him all day about the theory, but that's not what this video is about. This is to introduce to you the LMR-1. And I'm going to put a screenshot here on the website of what this is, because he's not only catering and developing for the ham market and shortwave market, but also commercial land mobile radio. There's not a lot of companies that can do something like this, like Dr. Jack has. And Jim, follow up with us now about, because you're the expert here with antenna sweeps and actual field performance with other antennas, with all your years of Motorola and everything. Tell us more about this antenna, Jim.
Well, currently, what I'm supporting, we're doing a lot of field installs for control stations, and the two products that are currently in use out there are expensive. Number one, quite expensive for what they are, and their performance is not that good. When I did the initial sweeps on this, on the BSAK mount, or base station mount, I was quite impressed. I already was impressed with the antenna in the mobile environment, and it just lent itself right over to to the control station area. It's much easier to, number one, to deploy. It's not as big and bulky as the other products I've seen out there, and the performance to me is better than what I'm seeing for a lot more money. So again, this is another issue. I'm hoping to see more of these get deployed out to the field and get adopted, because it's just a win-win to me in my side of the fence.
Yeah, for me to bring this up personally, because I've had Dr. Jack's products before for the ham market, but I have to tell you, I was blown away by the other models he's had, and I used this one. You could tell there's scratching and stuff. This is one of the original prototypes. I've had it on for a while, and it did work very well. But then Jim had got one because he's big in LMR, and he said, wow, this is now, Jim, we could talk about in the near future. We could have some. I know you got a lot of antenna analyzers and spectrum analyzers. What have you seen on like SDRs and spectrum analyzers and service monitors for the receive on something like this in this compact form compared to what you normally use?
I've been running basically dual SDR and trying to run them side by side. I just need to work on capturing the video for you. But I've seen the performance where I'm getting a lot of fade and flutter on a standard monoband or even dual band antenna, where I'm just, working the edges of the coverage areas. I'm seeing a lot of moving environment flutter, that type of scenario go on, and it's just not impacting the LMR-1. Is it noticeable? If you really were splitting hairs, maybe you can see it. But I have not been able to see any time where I'm seeing flutter on the standard vertical, and the Compactenna just seems to be working just fine. I can't see it. I have not captured any flutter where I see it, nice heavy phase dips, environmental dips on the vertical. I'm not seeing that on the LMR-1. Right.
So Dr. Jack, back to you. So tell us more about, I'm gonna branch out here, because who can you enlighten me? I mean, I have a little bit of LMR experience. Jim has a lot. Jim's been doing this for 40 something years. So that's why I had him come on with you, because you guys know more about this and I trust Jim. But more about who would benefit from this, or who is really the target for an antenna like this.
Well, on a greater sense, the visionary concepts comes around the idea to help mankind. So let's look at this. I mean, the government, you have local government, you have ambulances, police, fire, Secret Service, FBI, federal government agencies, Homeland Security. This is the ultimate antenna developed for this application, to have something very small and multi-band. It includes VHF. That's really hard to do. And, by having this magnetic field resonator where you create the matching within the antenna itself, rather than the lossy networks you see on other antennas, the LC circuits and the coil cap, that thing. Sure. And any radiation or any, signal producing capability they have is essentially grounded out. And then at the same time, you're developing elliptical polarization. So you're helping in that multipath environment tremendously to decrease that flutter and smooth it out. And I'm so glad that Jim saw that, because that's huge. That's really huge. And then you have phase diversity as well. These are some complex physics concepts. Even the near field and the quantum physics of this, related to Einstein and Niels Bohr, is in that video that I talked about, that you can see. This is totally different. And I'm really pleased to see it get into the hands of people that can really help with it. In the non-LMR, well, there's GMRS, of course. It's incredible. It's not a shortened quarter wave. It's
let me interrupt you. Not to interrupt you, but I just want to, maybe if there's some people watching, could hams use this? I know this is a commercial antenna. Could hams? I mean, this is close to a Scan 3. I have the Scan 3. I have the other one. A ham, if they were watching and they have no idea what LMR is, could they use this?
Well, they could, but as they saw in the QST August, the 2M440 Plus, if you want something in the ham community, that's your antenna. Could you use this for the 400 megahertz band? Sure, but it's with everything in it, it's a little bit more expensive, than the 2M440 Plus. I mean, that's called the Plus for a reason. GMRS, though, there you need the LMR-1, but I'm telling you, it's night and day compared to other antennas. What else? Go ahead.
Could it be used as a scanner antenna for those who
Well, of course, but yes, but the original antenna, as one of your great videos done, was on the Scan 3. That really is that's 3. That's civilian, commercial, and government. Okay, that's less expensive. You know, this thing is precisely and fine tuned for the LMR community. You know, to be plug and play, both mobile as well as with that counterpoise I showed you for the for the LMR community. Let's see if Jim has anything more to say.
Go ahead, Jim.
Well, honestly, my son is running the VHF 440 antenna on his vehicle. He's fallen in love with it. It's working quite well. He has it on the front cowling of a Silverado, and he's very happy with it. But like the doctor says, the LMR-1 is specifically designed and tuned for the LMR band, whereas he mentions there, say like the Scan 3 or the 2-meter 440 antenna is designed for the amateur radio use.
Jim, is there anyone else, perhaps not named, or anyone else in the Homeland Security or LMR community that has also been, that has been evaluating this antenna, and have they had some experience that you can share?
Good point. One of my customers, one of the technicians there is a ham. He has purchased the 2-meter 440 antenna, and in our discussions, this past week, he was mentioning how he really likes the antenna. He's quite heavily involved in P25 and digital amateur radio. He maintains multi-mode P25 sites, and he has a couple DMR repeaters. And he told me he has one. He really likes it, and he couldn't talk highly enough of it.
He has an LMR-1.
No, he has the 2-meter 440, which is, again, same concept. Just, doctor took the that 2-meter 440 design and expanded out for LMR use.
But you also know somebody that has been testing the LMR antenna in the government frequency bands and had some experience.
Yeah, the preliminary stuff I've been hearing back from people that have reached out and got it. They've been quite impressed with it also. There are a few people that I've talked to that they are looking at it.
Jim's on the road a lot, and he's up and down the East Coast, and he knows quite a bit of land mobile radio people. That's why I brought him on here. And I know he mentioned it because, like I said, what can we do for a video for those who are wondering? Let's talk about this real quick. What can we do? I know we have Anritsus, we have service monitors, we have. What can we do for a real comparative example in the field on LMR frequencies, this versus a regular antenna, like, driving and with your gear, Jim, you have a lot of test gear. And I know, Dr. Jack probably has all this stuff too. What could we do in the field to actually show this, like technical, for those techies out there?
Well, one of the things I'm hoping to be able to do is set up using a dual receive SDR to actually capture some, put both receivers, one on the LMR-1, one on a standard antenna, and drive an area on the fringes and just capture live video of basically the spectrum analyzer results of what's going on as you drive through it. So you'll be able to see, as one will, what I've been telling you is, as the standard monoband antenna will show a fade or a signal strength loss due to environmental issues, where the Scan 3 or the LMR-1 will hold steady. You might see a little bit of change in it. You're going to see that in any moving environment, but you're gonna, it won't basically dip out as bad.
Go ahead, Jack.
Well, I respect the fact that both of you are very busy gentlemen, just as myself. If you're not able to get to it, I understand that. I'm very appreciative of the fact, though, that Jim today was able to verbalize the decreased flutter that he was able to see using the LMR-1 at the P25 LMR frequencies, and he alluded to something that's really important. one thing, and that is, with analog, you have decreased a flutter, decreased picket density. Well, in the digital world, this applies to ham too, but we're talking about LMR-1 now. What you see in the problems that are mitigated by this technology, you see increased losses, packet losses. You see decreased throughput, and then you'll even see a drop in the connection. So the benefit you see in the analog communications RF world is even greater in the digital world. Just wanted to make that comment.
Well, I just want to make a comment too. I'll back up. I've talked to Dr. Jack. I've checked out his other antennas. This is nothing like a paid endorsement. He thought we would check this out on our own behalf, and nobody but me has decided to make this video because he just wanted. But Jim has more LMR knowledge. That's why Jim was playing with it. Then I ended up getting one, and just to see. But Dr. Jack knows when he developed this. But real world, I appreciate that Dr. Jack is taking our testing and whatever, and we put it on a video, but nothing here, he's very interested in what Jim has done so far and what we want to do. So before we wrap this up, because I don't want to run out of time here and lose the Zoom, we're going to come up with a part 2. Okay. And me and Jim are totally dying to meet Dr. Jack, and hopefully he's at Orlando or something, because I know he's at Dayton, right? And you had a bunch of people coming up and talking about this. Man is very, very, very smart. Even Jim said he's way up into quantum theories. I know he is. And some people crave that from the videos. They want technical geek out mode. And I love the fact that Dr. Jack is giving me, the opportunity to do this and talk about it and get him on here, because, he's very, very smart for what he's done in his products. We'll wrap it up with this because we're going to do a part 2. So Jim, wrap this up here quickly, and then we're going to follow up with this antenna and Dr. Jack and check this out, because I really want to see real world performance in the LMR market. Go ahead, Jim.
Right. Well, as the doctor said, this antenna definitely negates higher bit error rates, basically, as we measure it in the digital world. You won't see as high as bit error rate when you drive through a faded area. Packet loss equates to bit error rate. Analog world, of course, it would basically give you more noise at this receiver signal. So it definitely is a much better improvement than what's out there today.
Your signal's only good as your antenna, right, Jim? Go ahead, Dr. Jack, finish it up.
Well, I really appreciate your time today, Eric, and Jim as well. Both of you very skilled and very good at what you do, and it'll just be a good thing to my heart to see more and more people benefiting from this visionary concept. Thank you so much for spreading the word, and Jim for giving us some real world results. Appreciate it so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, I always mess with Jim and say, oh, Jim, I taught you this, but I've asked Jim a lot of times about some LMR stuff, and I'm just getting into it. He's been doing it 40 years. This guy knows a lot, and in real world, and so does Dr. Jack. So I appreciate it, and let's follow up on this. I appreciate having. I kind of like these little groups here on Zoom, and thank you everybody for watching. Check out Compactenna, whether you're an LMR or ham radio. I got other stuff from Dr. Jack that I play with, the shortwave antenna, the CB antenna, the scan 3, a lot of performance in a small form factor. You wouldn't believe it. Check out the link in the description, compactenna.com. Thank you for being a part of my channel. And look, Dr. Jack even sent me this one time, and look at that. He appreciated my videos, and he made that for me. And Dr. Jack, I appreciate you. You're a great man. Really do. I appreciate you. And we'll do this again next time. So everybody, 7-3.
7-3.
That's the result.
Ham Radio Concepts
is brought to you by HamRadioPrep.com.
It's never been easier to learn about ham radio
Before you take the exam,
and Ham Radio Prep makes it fun and guarantees your success.
visit HamRadioPrep.com.
Use the code ERIC20 to instantly save 20%
Off every course you buy.
Remember the name, HamRadioPrep.com.